Hi there, welcome. I'm Emma Baccarelli. I'm the Associate Director of the Eastern Connecticut Symphony. This is Mary Kate, our wonderful intern, and we are so excited to be joined by Phil Snedecor, our principal trumpet player and upcoming soloist for American Ingenuity.
Thanks for having me.
Hi Phil, thanks so much for being here. We are so excited to hear Phil perform this Saturday at the Gard Arts Center. He will be performing Anthony DiLorenzo's American Ingenuity. So Phil, this concert is built around a piece written specifically with you in mind. What was it like to learn that Anthony DiLorenzo was composing American Ingenuity for you? And what did that collaboration look like as the piece took shape?
Well, it was super exciting. It happened right before COVID happened, so, and of course we didn't know that, but it was exciting to work with Tony. Tony's an old friend. He's a trumpet player, but also a great composer who does a lot of movie trailers, and he works in the Hollywood circles a lot and really captures whatever subject matter he's working on in a way that is really truly special. So I knew it was going to be a great piece, and he and I talked several times about the different concepts he had in mind, and so we came up with this piece. He came up with this piece that utilizes 3 different instruments that talk about different American ingenuity.
That's amazing. How special is that? I mean, I cannot wait. It's been sounding amazing at rehearsal, and what an honor to do that with him, and we cannot wait to hear it.
So Phil, the concerto premiered in 2019 with you and the Harrisburg Symphony Orchestra. Now you're performing it here in New London with the ECSO. How has your relationship with this piece evolved over those years, and what feels different about bringing it to your home orchestra?
Well, you know, I memorized the piece. I memorized it in 2019, and then I had to kind of rememorize it for this. And I think it's more internalized now. I'm not thinking as much about like what to play next or how to play it. I've changed some things about the way I do things, and it's more fun. I think that's the main thing, is that I'm just kind of letting go now and playing the music and enjoying the piece. And it's brilliantly written. It's very descriptive. It's not a piece you have to listen to more than once to like. You know, a lot of pieces, you go, oh, this is a new concerto, and if you listen to it a few times, you'll like it. This is not that piece. This is a piece you're going to go away from and going, oh, I really liked all of those things, and I know why.
Yes, I know exactly what you mean. And that is how I felt the first time I heard it, too. So American Ingenuity honors 4 landmark achievements: the Transcontinental Railroad, the Wright brothers' flight, the Model T, and the Apollo 11 moon landing. How does DiLorenzo capture the character of each of these milestones in the music? And can audiences expect to hear those distinctions clearly?
Absolutely. So it starts with the train travel, the rail of the Golden Spike. And we talk about the Transcontinental Railroad in the late part of the 19th century. And he, similar to George Gershwin, he has this kind of thing going on in the strings that sounds like a train engine. Dum, bum, 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 bum. And you can actually kind of close your eyes and feel yourself on a train, kind of like Gershwin did with American Paris, American Paris, Rhapsody in Blue.
Yes.
And it's very descriptive American, just bread and butter, great writing, right?
Yeah.
And so he puts the trumpet on top of that, and it sounds very kind of regal, and it sounds like a train. And then I've come up with these images that we're doing in the background that kind of that shows trains, and it kind of puts you in the mood. So
For sure, and we're so excited. We're going to be showing those images projected behind the orchestra, which is really exciting to see visually while hearing the orchestra and Phil front and center.
So to answer the rest of your question, so the next movement is called the Wings of Kitty Hawk, about the Wright brothers' venture into human air travel, and it uses the flugelhorn, and it's a very floating, beautiful melody, and it sounds like a bird, and it sounds like maybe a very graceful plane. And then the next one is called Tin Lizzie, about the Model T automobile that Henry Ford pioneered and actually helped develop the assembly line, which enabled a lot of people to buy a car for the first time.
Yeah.
You didn't have to be rich to buy a car. In fact, the people that were working on the assembly lines could actually buy this car that they were making, which was very unusual back then in the industrial age. So, and it sounds like this kind of hiccuping car going down the road. It was nicknamed Tin Lizzie, which is the name of that movement. And it sounds like a hiccuping car that you have to crank up to get going.
Yeah.
And then the final one is called One Giant Leap, which is about the Apollo 11 first manned space trip to the moon. So it very futuristic kind of sounding, and it's just it's very well done. So
Yes, for sure. Thank you.
So the trumpet, it's often described as a heroic, triumphant instrument. What is it about the trumpet's voice that makes it the natural choice for a concerto celebrating American ingenuity and innovation?
well, the trumpet's been heroic since it was invented. It was played, for King Tut. In fact, King Tut was buried with some trumpets, and he had trumpet players, that were always at his beck and call. So trumpet players started out as heroic, and then it went on with Copeland. Aaron Copeland used the sound of the trumpet to use his fanfare of the common man. So it's just, for these descriptive things, Tony uses the trumpet to kind of weave his story, and it sounds very heroic. What can I say? I mean, it's more heroic than a lot of the instruments, but all instruments can sound heroic, but trumpet's probably got an easier time of it.
Yeah, for sure, definitely. And so you founded the Washington Symphonic Brass in 1993 and have composed and arranged extensively throughout your career. Does your own experience as a composer give you a particular insight into what DiLorenzo was going for in this piece, or in general? How does that contribute to your own performing, having that background?
I can see the great thing Tony's doing with these pieces, and it was spectacular. And I had a little input, but he just went with it, and I think I appreciate what Tony did as much or more than a lot of people that maybe don't compose, because I know how hard it is to compose.
Right, exactly. That's amazing. Yeah, so the rest of the program is deeply American as well, from Elmer Bernstein's Magnificent Seven theme to Dvorak's American Suite to Shenandoah. How do you think American ingenuity fits into and speaks to that broader American conversation happening across the whole evening?
Well, there's definitely a language of American music, right? Because I mentioned Copeland earlier. There's Copeland and Gershwin and Bernstein and things like that. And then film composers very much play into that, right? Mm-hmm. So Tony is an American composer that does film work, and his voice is very American. So Magnificent Seven, Elmer Bernstein, he was the voice of the Hollywood westerns back in the day.
Yeah.
He was actually called the Bernstein of the West, because not to be confused with Leonard Bernstein of the East. So you're going to instantly recognize the Magnificent Seven, and then the rest of the program is going to be very much in that language. So I think you'll enjoy it.
Definitely, we can't wait. Yeah. And so you teach trumpet at the Hart School right here in Connecticut at the University of Hartford, and your etude books are required repertoire at colleges and conservatories across the country. What do you hope your students take away from seeing you step into this soloist role like this? I know you have students coming as well to the performance.
I do. I have all my students coming. Hopefully they'll see me having fun, because I think one of the main things I want to show my students is that music is fun first and foremost.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be a job. If it's too hard, you should do something else that maybe makes more money, because you should do music if you have to do music, like for your soul. So hopefully they see me really in my element, and they can see their future selves in what we're doing here at the ECSO with Toshi. And he's so passionate, and you and your whole staff and Caitlin, our new executive director, really throw themselves into this, and we do it because we have to, not because necessarily it's the best paying job in the world, but we love it.
Exactly. I love that. Have to do it for your soul.
Right.
For sure.
For an audience member who has never heard a trumpet concerto before, what would you want them to listen for on Saturday night?
Well, as I said earlier, I'm using 3 different trumpets. So I'm using the orchestral C trumpet, which is the trumpet you see me play in the back of the orchestra all the time. We're doing Copeland's Third Symphony next month, and that's what I'll be playing.
Yeah.
And when you go to Boston Symphony and see Tom Rolfes, that's the trumpet he plays. And then for the Wright brothers one, the Wings of Kitty Hawk, I'm going to be playing a flugelhorn. And for those of us old enough to remember Chuck Mangione, who just died, he had a hit called Feels So Good that was played on the flugelhorn. It's much more mellow. Yeah. And then the last movement, the Giant Leap, I'm going to play on a piccolo trumpet, which is used for Baroque pieces, but this is going to be a modern adaptation of piccolo trumpet writing. It's basically a trumpet half the size of the regular trumpet. It's a very distinctive, high, clear sound.
Very cool. So do you have a personal favorite movement or favorite historical achievement out of the 4 that's featured in this piece?
Yeah, I think my favorite movement is the Wings of Kitty Hawk, and I'll tell you why. Because first of all, I love the flugelhorn. I love the melodic writing of that movement. But I also love the struggle of the Wright brothers, because they failed so many times. They kept having to go back, and there was many times where they should have just said, you know, forget this, I'm not going to do this thing. But they kept at it and kept at it, and they were successful. And I kind of see my own career in that, because as a musician, you have a lot of failures. You don't succeed right away, or very rarely do. And so you have to keep going in order to persevere. So I like that story. That's a great story.
I love that. Definitely. Well, Phil, thank you so much for being here. We are so excited to hear Phil this Saturday night, February 21st, at the Gard Arts Center. Hope to see you there. Thank you.
Thank you.